This is Dave or Gandalf, and I'm trading 8 games in the Brazilian Paulista this Tuesday night, all scatterguns, and I've just made a little spreadsheet, a simple spreadsheet to record the evening's activity. So here we are at the start of the evening, and we've got an initial exposure of £93, and in the background you can see the various games being scrolled through. And here we go with the evening's trading, and you'll see that Atletico Go have already scored a goal. Conceded a goal to ABC after a few minutes. That's a good start for a scattergun trade for the away team to score first. But as you'll see as the evening goes on, that's not necessarily the best outcome there. Things happened a bit too early. So whilst I'm just scrolling through various things on the screen there, you can see me flitting from market to market. Just a bit of background here. I quite often trade several games in one go, and we've got, sorry, it's cut across there, we've got a 1-1 already look in the Atletico Go ABC game. Far too early, 20 odd minutes gone. Um, the trader's dilemma comes in here. What do you do? I've got near enough £100 exposed across the 8 games, and here we are with one of them already at a scattergun score halfway through the first half. As it happened, it stayed that way until half time, and we're sort of at half time now. I'm just scrolling through the various games, just having a look at the situation as the half time scores start coming in. So there we are. Anyway, I was saying I do lots of these sessions where I trade several games in one go, all trading the scattergun. Brazil is suited to it. Argentina is suited to it. I do very well with some of the European leagues, League Two in France, Serie B in Italy, to name two. Although they've become a little bit harder of late, France has anyway, because the games start too early and I'm not home in time for them. So I'm sort of trying to lump on my bets at 20 past 7 against games that are kicked off at about 7 o'clock. Hey ho, that's one of the downsides of not being a full-time pro trader, I suppose. So I'm just filling in the bits of the spreadsheet now with the half-time scores, and you'll see that I'm not in a bad position at half-time, in point of fact. I could back that £93 back again and take a £6.40 profit. Now some people might say, oh, that's not too sad. It's like a 6-7% return on your outlay. I've got one nice scoring game there at 13.38. That's the Atletico Go ABC game. The Mackay versus America Marinero is showing nearly £2. Mogi Marin versus Nautico showing nearly £2. The two 0-0 games are the big losers, £3.8 and £4.72 in the Boa game and the Este game. And the other two at 1-0, 0-1 and 1-0 showing, very modest reds. So yeah, £6.40 from 93. Some people would probably take that. Not old gun though, he's not in the business for £6 reds from 93 outloaded when I've got 8 games to run out. I'll carry on. Now, Bahia have gone 2-0 up in their game against Paysandu, and I'm just looking at the betting on the match odds market. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, this is mainly for show. There's no way I'm not going to do this trade. I'm just sort of pretending to have a look and justify it to myself in my mind before I go and waste some money on it. Now, I say waste some money. The point of this, of course, isn't that I necessarily want to go into N2-2, although that would be absolutely fantastic. The point is, at 1.06, I choose to go into the match odds market in that game and lay the game for £100. Lay Bahia for £100. And why not? Because if Paysandu do manage to get a goal, at 1.06 is going to go out to what? I don't know, 1.2, 1.25, something. It depends when the goal goes in. But if it goes in relatively shortly, it'll give me a nice profit, and I'll be able to square myself up in the correct score market and take a nice profit from the match odds market at the same time. Sometimes when you're trading multiple games on scatterguns, little side trades like that do make some sense. And what I'm doing here on the makeshift spreadsheet, it's the first time I've used this spreadsheet, by the way. As you can tell, it's not something I'd made a sort of template of. Although if I'd thought about it a bit more, I would have done something along these lines so I could have ancillary trades or side standing trades, if you like. I would have built them into the P&L a little bit better. I'll make a couple of mistakes here, as the eagle eyes of you will spot that as we go on. I've made a simple mistake, data entry mistake there. I've recorded that as a £10 liability because that's what my Geeks toy is set up to lay as a liability. By default, when I changed my mind and only laid £100 at 1.06, it's only a £6 liability. So in my mind, for some reason, I'm thinking I've got 10 outstanding on the home and I've got 6. Okay, the 60-minute mark, not quite so rosy at the 60-minute mark, bearing in mind I had a £6.40 green position at half time. The 60-minute mark, I've still got the 1-1-1. I've got a 2-0, a 0-0, a 1-0, a 1-0, a 0-1, a 0-0 and a 1-0. And the losses are beginning to, or the potential losses are beginning to creep up on me a little bit now. So I could still hedge out for a loss of 15 quid against an outlay of 93. So you take that as an acceptable loss on an evening's trading. Is there any point in doing that? Was the game so nicely poised? Not in my mind. Not in my mind at all. We'll carry on. These games keep getting suspended. I don't know whether any of you use Geeks Toy. I know some of you use Bet Angel, some of you use Gruss, and various other pieces of software. But I'll tell you why I particularly like Geeks Toy. Because you've probably noticed during the course of this video, I've got 8 games live, and look, I can show all 8 there just by hovering above the Geeks Toy icon in the taskbar, and I can see at a glance where there's games which are suspended. And I can flick into the major market, just hover the mouse over that game, and there's the market, it comes up. So, I've got a 1-1 there, that's the Mogi Marim game. So I'm doing well. I've got 2 1-1s now. You see how quickly and how subtly things can change. I've still got that blasted 2-0 there in the Bahia game. But hey ho. The Cricky Kuma game was suspended for a long time. Cricky Kuma versus Bragantino. Not quite sure what was going on there. I'm not one for watching these games. I find the quality of the football absolutely appalling. And how do you choose when you're trading 8 games? How do you choose which one to watch? Wouldn't want to appear to be prejudiced in favour of one. I'm interested in all 8 games, providing me with if you like, a composite profit, and that's what we're after. What am I doing here? I was just seeing whether there's anything in Cricky Kuma. Yeah, it's suspended for ages on Betfair. God alone knows what was going on. What have we got? So the Atletico Go game is now gone. That's gone 1-2. So ABC have taken the lead. And I sort of had to hedge that really. I didn't have to hedge it completely. I hedged the 1-2. I'd already partially hedged the 1-1 when it went 1-1. I did that at half time. Took my 1-1 stake out. And I'm sitting there with a £7.50 odd profit. That's banked profit. So I've got the liability back in the bank, which I think was 13 quid on that game. Let me just check that. I'm sure it was 13 quid. Yeah, £12. Okay. I've made £7.50, so I've got the thick end of 20 quid back in the bank. So 20 of my £93 is now covered. Got that £6 outstanding on the match odds lay. So, I'm still a way away from being in a good position. Okay, so we fast forward now to the 80-minute mark. Now 80 minutes, this isn't a bad position to be in. So I've got a 1-2, a 2-0, a 0-0, a 1-0, a 1-1, a 1-1, a 0-0, and a 1-1. And you'll notice I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 games with scattergun scores with 10 minutes to go, and I've turned that £93 liability into £31.25 profit on correct score. And at this point in time, I've got £6 outstanding on the match odds lay of Bahia and Pasandu. I'm just having a look now at the 2-0 games. And again, I don't know why I'm making such a pretense of this. We all know I'm going to do it. They're odds on. I've already laid the 0-0 in the Boa versus Vitoria game, and I'm just laying it now in the Erste game. So I had £5.10 on 0-0 as a liability on 0-0 in Boa versus Pasandu, and £5.80 in Erste versus Pirana. Tidying the old spreadsheet up, doing a sum box at the bottom there. The state of my mind. Shot to bloody pieces. Can't even do a simple sum calculation on Excel these days. That's where you younger boys laugh at us old chaps in the green room. It's no fun, getting old. Body goes, your brain goes. Need more drugs and alcohol to keep you going. I'm joking, by the way. I love life. Come on, what's going on now? I'm not very good with this editing, chaps, and I do apologise for it. And I've yet to find a decent way of doing this. I'm looking at a very low resolution screen while I'm making this narration, and that's not helped by my old eyesight as well. I can't really see what the bloody hell's going on. I'm having to do this from memory, and it was a couple of nights ago now. So it's the other thing that happens. You see at 52, 53, your memory starts fading. So a little bit of a period of inactivity here. Time's creeping on. About halfway through the video now. And I believe I'm right in saying I'll just let this video run now for the last 10 minutes or so of the game and catch all the end goals and the closing down of the games now. Some people, when I've been in the chat room in Trading Football, have asked me how it's possible to trade 7 or 8 games at a time. I don't regard it as being a challenge at all, because it's very rare that anything happens in more than one game at one time. So yeah, we've got a 2-1 gone in there. That's the Mogi Marim game there. It's gone 2-1. I think there's about 82, 83 minutes gone. Just waiting for the market to resettle. This happens a couple of times from here on, and you'll notice that the more value conscious of you will notice that I probably pay a bit too much for my lays in this situation. There is a method in my madness. I'm still at this stage, although I've sort of banked the money, I haven't really banked the money. I've mentally banked it, but I've now got to make sure I physically bank it as well. So I need to make that lay and get it in there and make it count. So if I pay 0.2, 0.3 too much, so be it. I'd sooner have the money in the bank and risk only making £10 instead of £12 to avoid the ignominy of what's that word? Ignominy, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Of turning, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. And we've got a red light on the Ersty game now. This is just where it gets sometimes with flash scores. I'm assuming there was a penalty, but sometimes it's like waiting for a bloody bus. You've had a few beers and you wait for the bus or the train or a cab to come and pick you up to take you home to your bed, and the poxy thing doesn't arrive. Just like that, watching it. Red. Is it going to be a goal? Is it? Have they got Kenwyn Jones taking a penalty, and has he just skied it in the rose edge? You just don't know. So I'm sitting here thinking that will make a massive difference to my P&L if that goal goes in, because it would turn a 16 odd quid liability into a £6 or £7 profit. So all this time I was sort of sitting there champing at the bit. Is it a goal? Is it a goal? Is it a goal? Still red. Must be about half a minute now. And there we go. The red's disappeared. Have we got a goal? We have indeed. Now, I'm not a great one for trusting flash scores, so you'll see me just flip into the market to make sure that flash scores and Betfair are talking from the same hymn sheet, singing from the same hymn sheet. Any second now. Any second now. See what I mean about your memory failing? It was only 2 nights ago, for Christ's sake. Alright, unless the video's frozen. Beginning to think it has. Ah, no, there we go. There we go. Yeah, we have a goal. 1-0 to Este. Happy days. Goes the Elson fight the stance on the mouse again. Look, click. For God's sake, man, get a grip. Football trading's about periods of inactivity, especially when there's 8 goals and the game's drawing to an end. Your trade's more or less set fair now. It's either worked or it hasn't. Time, I suppose, where your thoughts turn to do you do bingo specials, for want of a better word? I don't know if that's phrase is still used. When trading football started off, the bingo special was usually a £5 or £10 stake lay with the odds of the correct score at about 1.1, 1.2, something like that. Just a way of cashing in on those late goals that seem to happen with monotonous regularity throughout football matches everywhere in the world, really. I didn't in this instance, and as you'll see, okay, you make a rule. You either do it in every game or you do it in none. And I decided the idea of this video was to show you what can happen to an evening of trading scatterguns without getting too silly. Okay, I've laid match odds. I've laid 2-0-0s on the two games that were 0-0 with 5-10 minutes to go. So I think the Mogi Mirim game there is finished. The Bahia game, this is where I really could do with a 2-1. Didn't happen, of course. So the Mogi Mirim game's finished. I'm just filling in the spreadsheet as we go real time here. So I'm still doing well. So I've got a 1-2 or 2-1, a couple of 1-1s, one of which is now finished. It's not Mogi Mirim. It's the Mackay game, isn't it? Yeah, Mackay versus American Monero. The Mogi Mirim game's the Mogi Nautico game's still going. And what little beauty have we got here? I think we've got a goal. Yeah, no, maybe not. 1-2 on Atletico Go. Still, bastards couldn't get that 2-0, 2-2, could they? Oh, 1-1 in the bottom game there. Here we go. St. Paul versus Luverdense. And it's gone 2-1. Look at that little beauty. Back of the net. Now again, you'll see me possibly, arguably pay a little bit too much for this bet. But I want to get it matched. Because that's a profit north of 40 quid. When you think I only invested 93 in the 8 games, a profit of 40 odd quid on one game, 50% return just from 1 out of 8. You've not got to be a fantastic trader. If you can do one of those, you've not got to be a fantastic trader on the other 7 to make half a hash of the evening. And that's really what happened here. Some people say trading's about luck. It is about luck. It's about the true definition of luck in the trading sense, in my mind, is preparation meeting opportunity. If you haven't prepared to be in the position where the last minute goal or the last second goal comes home and really does you a favour, then you haven't traded it properly. If you've come out too early, if you've taken too much green too early, lost your bottle, trying to recover your position, whatever it might be, you're not maxing the score. And the beautiful thing about trading 8 or 9 of these games in one go is that you've got, the potential for taking a big bath, don't get me wrong, but you've also got the potential of having just 4 or 5 results going your favour and one going particularly your favour, which is exactly what's happened here, to turn an okay result into a very, very, very acceptable result. So just tidying up the spreadsheet now. I will do some work on that spreadsheet because I found it actually quite a useful tool, and I think it's worth just having a sit down and a think about what I could do with that to get some kind of more accurate idea of where my timings are. Make some notes on it maybe, and then save them in individual games. Then go back and do some analysis of them in the future, or maybe do one huge spreadsheet with lots of different tabs on it and collate all that information. I don't know. I'll give it some thought over the last few weeks of the close season. See whether I can come up with something for multi-game trading. I'll happily put it on the forum if I do. I mean, obviously using it's completely at your discretion. No liability admitted on my part if you fuck it up and lose loads of money. Just realised I put a £10 liability there when it was actually, in actual fact, only a £6 liability. It's gone in and corrected that. So the games are starting to come to an end now. It's gone 3-1 in that last game there, look. the Luverdense game. Hey ho, 2-2 would have been pretty good score in that game. 2-2 sadly missing from the Knights' endeavours. You'd thought one of them would have done me the favour and scored the 2-2, wouldn't you? There we go. You can't have everything, as long as you've got something. When you fill in the results on this and you see that figure there, the bottom right hand figure, you see that P&L figure, hopefully climbing, the losses going and the profits coming in. Another one finished there. Yeah, we didn't get the goal in the Bahia game. That finished 2-0. So that was a full loss on the correct score and a £6 loss on match odds. So I've lost about 20 quid on that one game. So Lyrical go, which went 1-1 after about, I think it was about 25 minutes, finishes 1-2. Often happens. A couple of quick goals and absolutely bugger all. This hurts when you put in total losses. But again, you can weather it, you know, when you've got 8 games, take a total loss on 2 or 3. Make a decent profit on the others, doesn't matter, does it? Yeah, that Ersty game where I laid the 0-0, £9 profit. Like the lottery, this guys, you've got to be in it to win it. What I'm doing here, I'm just entering the results there. I'm going to work out the profit and loss. While I'm doing that, I'm going to just refer in the background to my overall spreadsheet. What it's showing me is that I had a £93 initial liability from 8 games. I had the ability to take £6.40 profit at half time, a 15 quid all bar the shouting loss at 60 minutes, a £31 profit at 80 minutes, and the full-time result was a £55 profit. Now that's against £93 plus about £16 in lay, so let's call that 110. The figure you see there, the profit, the ROI there, 55.61, is a little bit false because I didn't include the 2 liabilities for the 2 0-0 lays in there. You see, I zeroed them out because they came in, but that's erroneous, really. I don't mean to mislead anybody. That's the genuine is probably about 50%. I'm happy with that, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll do some more and hopefully learn to edit these things properly. Cheers.